interest, commitment, or prior representation would materially affect the independence of judgment of a reasonable person. Committee members are also reminded that under the bylaws, if you've had any contact outside this meeting with any persons interested in a matter coming before the committee today, you should disclose the nature of that contact at this meeting. I'm also going to go ahead and read the instructions for providing public comments. We are participating in this meeting via Zoom webinar. So if you'd like to provide public comment, you can log into the Zoom webinar at the link on the first page of today's agenda, or you can join by typing zoom.us into your computer browser, click join a meeting on the Zoom website, and enter meeting ID 831-3388-3067. Anyone wishing to join us today by telephone only can dial 1-669-900-9128 and enter meeting ID 831-3388-3067 and press pound. For those who would like to provide public comment via Zoom, when it's time to provide public comment, you can utilize the raise hand feature. And to provide public comment via telephone only, you can press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to mute or unmute. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. We're going to move on to the next agenda item, the appeal procedure. Most decisions rendered by the Parcel Map Review Committee are appealable. If you disagree with the decision of the Parcel Map Review Committee and you want to appeal its action, call the planning staff immediately at 775-328-6100. You will be informed of the appeal procedure and application fee. Appeals must be in writing and must be delivered to the Planning and Building Division within 10 calendar days from the date that the decision being appealed is signed by the Secretary of the Parcel Map Review Committee and mailed to the original applicant in the proceeding being appealed in accordance with Washoe County Code. Thank you. We will move on to the next agenda item, public comment. Public comment heard under this item is limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the agenda. However, action may not be taken on any matter raised during this public comment period until a matter is specifically listed on an agenda as an action item. Comments are to be made to the Parcel Map Review Committee as a whole. Adriana, do we have any public comment yet today?
There are no hands raised for public comment.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to approval of the November 14th, 2024 agenda. That's the one we're working on now. Does anybody need a change to this agenda? Do I have a motion for approval?
This is Rob. I'll make the motion to approve as written.
Thank you, Rob. Do we have a second?
Wayne Handreck, second.
I appreciate the enthusiasm today. We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda of today. All in favor, aye.
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 All opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you. We'll move on to the approval of the October 10th, 2024 draft minutes. If any of you have any additions or corrections to those draft minutes, we'd like to hear. Does anybody need a change to those minutes? Do I have a motion for approval of those minutes?
Wayne Handreck, motion to approve as written.
Gilway, second.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. All opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. We'll move on to the project review items for today. We have one item for today, tentative parcel map case number WTPM 24-0004, 0 Joy Lake Road. And I believe we have Kat with us today, Kat Oakley, to talk to us about this one. Kat, what can you tell us about this one?
Now let me share my screen. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So here we are. Kat Oakley here on behalf of Chris Bronzik to present on this parcel map case. This request is to divide a 2.54 acre parcel into two parcels, one of 1.52 acres and one of 1.02 acres. The location is right there at the entrance, the Joy Lake Road entrance of Galena Forest Estates off Mount Rose Highway. You can see the parcel on the screen outlined in blue. The proposed division is those solid lines breaking off the more square 1.303 acre parcel and then the elongated 1.51 acre parcel. The property is zoned low density suburban, which has a allowed residential density of 1 unit per acre. And so the maximum potential number of lots is 2, and 2 in this case are proposed. The minimum lot size would be 35,000 square feet, and the minimum lot size proposed is 1.02 acres, so over 43,000 square feet. So meets that requirement and also meets the minimum lot width requirement, which is 120. The proposed minimum width is 150. The one kind of unique thing about this property, or thing that there's mentioning, is that there is a condition from Northern Nevada Public Health, Condition 4A, that would require a note on the final map to ensure that these parcels, if they are developed, will connect to sewer. So these two properties will need to connect to municipal sewer if in the future they develop single-family homes. That is the overview. The recommendation is that the Parcel Map Review Committee approve this with conditions. The motion's on the screen, and I'm also happy to answer any questions you have about it.
Thank you very much, Kat. I have a question, but let's go around the room first and see if anybody has anything they would like to talk about on this. Is the applicant here? I don't see the applicant here.
I do believe the applicant representative is available, Brandon Freeman.
Okay.
Brandon, if you would please unmute and say your first and last name for the record.
Yes, Brandon Freeman with Robison Engineering.
Howdy, Brandon. Thank you for being here today. Would you like to add anything to what we heard from Kat before we ask for questions?
The only thing I'd like to add is the intent is for single family residents, and yes, we propose to connect to the available sewer in Joy Lake Road and available Tumwa water service as well. Both water rights have been acquired for this as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, let's see here. I've got first on my left is Wayne. Do you have anything you'd like to ask or comment on?
Nope, I'm good.
James, how about you today? That's an interesting condition, but I understand why, given the location right there where water and sewer should be.
Further, neither do I.
Okay. How about you? Anything to say today? Any
No,
questions?
I don't have anything.
Okay. My one question is only because I'm somewhat familiar with this parcel, just from having driven past it so many times. The so-called square part, from my visualization of it, is quite developable. But the part that's not square, the part that's left over, the more the oval, it's called the oval shape, for lack of a better term. I'm not sure what the slopes are and what the issues there are on that parcel, but I seem to remember that parcel as having some slope issues. And I'm wondering if anybody has looked at this to ensure that that remaining parcel has a developable spot on it, given the existing slopes. Brandon, you may be the best person to answer that. You're probably most familiar with it. Can you help me with that?
Yes, Brandon Freeman with Robison Engineering. Yes, I have actually gone out there and performed a full topographic survey of that. No, we did not encounter any particular unreasonable slopes. The largest challenge would be the entrance from Joy Lake Road onto that oval shaped parcel. There is a bit of a grade difference, but nothing that couldn't be made up with some good quality engineering and maybe some retaining walls of 3 to 4 to 5 feet tall, perhaps. We would be happy to provide a topographic map. I know one was provided for Health. Health has reviewed such map that did display the utilities, but also has topographic data as well.
Well, you'll likely need a grading permit with your building permit for whatever you're doing, and it'll be reviewed at that time. I just
Okay.
want to make sure that there is a comfort level that both parcels are going to be developable.
Yes, we did not encounter slopes anything over, I think 12%.
Okay, great.
So very, very reasonable.
Eric, there is a copy of the map with contours on it as part of the application packet.
Okay, great. I figured there would be. Dale, I sincerely apologize for this. I skipped over you. And given that strange little spot where it is and the topography, you may be the one that has something to say. Do you have any comments or questions on this one?
No, thank you.
I apologize for skipping over you a bit.
No problem.
Okay, well, that seems to be all of our questions. Adriana, do we have any public comment on this?
No public comment.
Okay, well then I'm ready to bring this back to all of us. Do we have a motion on this particular project?
I'm Wayne Handrak. I move that after giving reasoned consideration to the information contained within the staff report and the information received during the public meeting, that the Washoe County Parcel Map Review Committee approved the parcel map case number WTPM 24-0004 for Robinson Engineering, subject to the conditions of approval included as Exhibit A with the staff report, and make the determination that the required criteria is or will be adequately provided for pursuant to the Washoe County Code, Section 110.606.30, Section E.
Thank you, Wayne. Do we have a second?
Dale Way, second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All right, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, Kat, for being here. And thank you, Brandon, for being here as well. We'll move on to number 8, reports and future agenda items. I have no future agenda items at this time. Does anybody else? Anything you want to? I mean, this board, I don't know how Chris does it for everybody. But just so you know, future agenda items doesn't only have to be cases. If you guys have questions about how we do this, if you want to talk about how we do it, if you want to talk about how we do it better, potentially, if you have a topic for discussion about what this board does, or if there's some subject that you would like more information on in order for you to feel like you were more engaged with this board, just ask for it. Just say, hey, Eric, or hey, Chris, I would like to see this on a future agenda. Can we do that? Can we talk about that next month or in a couple of months? So when Chris gets back, I won't be doing this. And that's just too bad on Chris. If you guys have things you'd like to talk about, make sure you let him know and ask to have it on the future agenda. We'll move on to 8B. Jen, do you have any legal information or updates for us?
Nothing from me today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again for being here. I'll move on to number 9. Once again, last chance for any public comment. If anybody has anything they'd like to speak on. Adriana,
There's no public comment.
thank you so much. Looks like we can move on to adjournment, and we will call this meeting adjourned for today. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Take
Thank
care.
you all.
Yeah.
So-
Thanks.
I was 3 minutes.